Over here, paint this way.
Yeah. Hi, Len here. Welcome to another episode. So late yesterday we got our trusses. It's good we got them late in the day because we had time to get all the rest of our fixings, lintel fixings and our top plate fixings, our stud locks and plate locks. James spent most of the day dealing with that portal back there. We need to get that to height first and get some beams in there. Some of these trusses, namely the scissor trusses here, are going to be sitting on those beams. So basically what we want to do is get the beams in line with the walls on either side and also level, and then once they're all bolted on, then we can get our trusses up there. I've set up the string line here so that I can make sure that the beam is in line with the wall. I've checked that this is level, so I just want to quickly check that the steel is still plumb so that my holes end up in the right place. Yep, all good. Alright, let's drill some holes and get some bolts in. So I've cut a bit out of the end beam for the weld and for the cleat that bolts onto. So I've put another clamp here and taken these bolts out, so hopefully the next piece slots straight in. Yes. In this case, because the trusses are sitting on it, we want the top to be flush. Alright, so what I've done now is use some Tex screws to pull in the far end and pull it together, and that way when I deal with that end, the holes are going to be in the right place. Here we are, done. In 3604 it specifies nail spacings, in this case 270mm spacings, and it needs to be nailed from both sides, so that's what I've done. And now I need to do the other side. For the other side I've done things a wee bit differently. Instead of using a string line, I've just taken a parallel measurement of that beam, because on this side there's not really a long run of wall to measure off. Right, I'm almost done with this. It hasn't taken long at all. A lot quicker than the other side. Now, I've just got to pull this end over because the steel's kind of pinged out a little bit. So length is fine. I've just got to pull it back in. Now, the easiest way to do that is just to pull it with a clamp. There's hardly any resistance on that. The problem is, I couldn't get that over. I could push it over, but it just bounces back. But now, I've got it over nice and tight, and then I can get some screws in there or something to hold it there. Oh. Stud lock. There we go. Great thing about these stud locks, they come in handy for things other than just locking studs in. So that's 90mm without the thread there, which is that thickness there. So it means that it's all getting pulled from that thread and it pulls your plates down or whatever really well. Alright, that's done. Time to call it a day, I think. I've got to stop by Makita in Rolleston and go pick up my batteries. So I've had the same problem that so many people have had with their 40 volt Makita batteries, and that is, hang on, I'm trying to retrieve one. Little battery indicator sticker comes off. This one is okay still, but two of my others have already been done, and I dropped two off last week I think, but they were just moving factory. So anyway, better go pick them up because they shut at 4:30, which is a bit of a pain. Open at 8 and shut at 4:30. Anyway. Hi, Lynn here. Welcome to another day, not another episode. Better get that right. Anyway, James is elsewhere this morning. He'll be in later. So while I'm waiting, I'm going to mark out some trusses. How exciting! Alrighty. Perfect conditions for marking out trusses because there's hardly any wind for a change. I think it's supposed to get windy later on in the day, but for now it's pretty good. So here's our plans. These are the tough plans I think they're getting. It's like a plasticky sort of stuff. They last a lot longer, but they're really big, which is kind of annoying. Whereas the smaller ones they gave us are double-sided and on paper, and they're ripped. Right, so with these plans you've got running measurements from each corner. It's a lot easier with two people because one person can look at the plan and yell out the numbers and the other person just goes and marks it. So go and quickly mark them. So we've got 300. You need to make sure you get the X on the correct side. Go on, 578. Right, 1478. There we go. What did I say? 5078. And then the next one is already marked from the other side, but it's a good way of checking. It should be 45mm out because I'm marking the other side. So 5778. Or 45.5. I'll take that. Now I need to mark which truss is which because otherwise you can end up putting the wrong trusses in the wrong place and you only find out later once it's all nailed in. Done that before. We had I think 9 or 10 identical trusses, and it's only when we worked our way to the gable, about 3 trusses before the gable, I realised that we were 1 truss short because we'd set them up incorrectly. So if you look at the other side, we've got measurements across here, and these are walls inside the house, or it's actually these walls. So it means I've got to walk across these top plates to mark them. It's not something I'm the most confident at, but I'm getting there. So if you look over here, you've got S4, S4, and then comes S4A. And when you've got a letter after, it's normally just a slight moderation to the truss. So in this case, it means that there's no tail on the other end, no overhang. Reason for that is because over there, there's going to be inside the house. So you don't want a tail, coming inside. One thing I want to try is putting the joist hangers on the girder trusses first. That way you can drop your jacks in. You don't need 2 people to do it. And it makes it a lot quicker because I know from experience trying to put jacks on when you've got your nets in the way or you're clambering up over top, it's not ideal. So if you can get your joist hangers on, or at least get them marked first, it just makes life so much easier. Made a massive amount of visual progress, so we've got all the trusses up and we've just got hardware and of course purlins before the roof can go on, and inspection before the roof goes on. Tomorrow is supposed to be raining heavily, so we're going back to Previlton. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Cheers.